Hello, and welcome to another recording of Treasury Talks, where we speak with a number of different folks across the world of finance. Today, I'm excited to have with me Kia McCallister-Young. I am so excited that you've come with us today. I'd love it if you could talk a little bit more about your role with America Saves and just what it is that motivates you and helps you to sort of consider financial security from folks that are coming from all different walks of life. And if you could just give us a little bit of what makes you tick.
Of course. Thanks for having me today, and excited to talk to everyone about America Saves and what we do. So I joined America Saves in 2019 in their communications department. And I was very excited by their mission and their message, because I have obviously a communications background, and it's a social marketing campaign. And I know the power of when you have great content that resonates with people, and how that can change their behaviors, right? And so that's really what America Saves is focused on, is changing the behaviors. Since then, joining under the communications team, I've actually become co-director of America Saves, and our mission hasn't really changed. We're really focused on helping Americans successfully save, reduce their debt, and build wealth, but doing it in a way that does not include shaming, and really focuses on and meets them where they are. So we focus a lot on the low to moderate income earner. And the conversations around personal finance and savings for that segment has always been a little bit overwhelming. And so we really focus on giving action-oriented, ready to implement content that they can really just implement into their daily lives.
So I love that, because you're really considering how the typical individual would be utilizing services from America Saves, and what we all sort of face. Can you talk a little bit about some of those initiatives and maybe how they've had to evolve given the pandemic? What sort of challenges have you been seeing from other people, and what are people looking for to continue to help support them on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I think as the pandemic kind of spread, it was obvious to us that our main audience was experiencing the pandemic in several different ways. And we kind of, after talking to our savers, we kind of saw there were three categories. There were people who had savings and were having to spend that savings down. And so they were worried about all the hard work that they'd done. They were excited that they didn't, that they had the savings, but they're very sad at the idea of like losing what they've built, right? And then there was a group of people who had no savings, who weren't in a position where they could save quite a bit. And so it was very, very hard for them. And many of them lost their jobs in addition to that. And then there were a group of savers who were actually in a better position, whether it was the extra unemployment actually was a boost in income for them, or if they were a business owner and for whatever reason, they were able to have more clients and customers as a result of maybe working from home. So we really got to work on building resources that talk to all three of those categories, so that they can ensure that whatever situation they were going through, there was something there for them. They could identify themselves within the resources that we provided for them. And then from our standpoint as a team, we are all, we vary as far as age and demographics and diversity. And so we were able to take our life experiences and what we were experiencing with the pandemic to kind of contribute to the resources and really understanding where our savers were in their journey.
I love that we're talking about this, because I think about America Saves Week kicking off on February 21st. What can we expect from you guys? What sort of programming will you have available? What's coming up, and how can we get involved?
Yeah, that's my favorite topic. So, yes, America Saves Week kicks off on February 21st. And we actually have our overall theme for the week this year is building financial resilience. Because, I remember when things shut down in March 2020 and we thought it was going to be a few weeks and that, we could just move things to September and we'd be able to travel and things would be back to normal, quote unquote. And we are not there yet. And so we're still building that financial resilience. We're still having to help people really build their financial confidence. And people are more motivated than ever to kind of take control of their finances. And so all of that has been considered and interspersed into America Saves Week. One of the ways that we are kicking things off is with our Think Like a Saver Town Hall, where we'll be focused on 5 ways to make savings easier. We'll have lots of panelists. We'll have a sweepstakes where we're giving away 5 $500 cash prizes to 5 lucky attendees. And in addition to that, we're actually offering free financial coaching and counseling to anyone who attends through our friends AFCPE and the Coordinated Assistance Network. So we have lots of events during the week itself, but we really love our kickoff because it kind of sets the stage for the rest of the week. If you're not familiar with America Saves Week, each day has a theme. And so day 1 is saving automatically. Day 2, that Tuesday, we're focused on saving for the unexpected, but not just always negative emergencies that pop up, but those fun opportunities that could arise that you want to kind of have savings for. The 3rd day, we talk about saving to retire. The day 4, that Thursday, is all about paying down debt and how it helps you, how reducing your debt actually helps you save. And then day 5 is saving as a family. So we have lots of different focuses throughout the week, but it's all encompassing where we're touching all the different areas of your finances. And so it's a really great week to just stop and do what we like to call a financial check-in to see where you are in all of those different spaces.
You've prizes and giveaways to really entice people to not just take some lessons, but also potentially win some prizes. That's really phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really important to us, Colleen, if I can just add the reason why we do that. It's not just, because we want to give away money, but we really do believe that in addition to financial education, a lot of our savers need a cash injection. We saw that from the stimulus as well. And so that's one of the reasons why that is the reason why we give the sweepstakes, is to kind of help jumpstart your savings emergency fund, which we feel like $500 for low to middle income workers is a really great goal to start with at $500.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, we always sort of talk about that statistic of the average, car repair is going to cost about $400. So if you're sort of funding that emergency savings, pocket of money, 500 is really going to be great because it's going to maybe cover your groceries and that
exactly
auto repair. Yeah, I love it. What do you think, the future looks like? Why taking control of your finances, regardless of your level of mindfulness, why is that so important?
So I think that I mentioned earlier about building financial confidence. And I really think that's the future of personal savings because people, the conversations around savings has very much been, you have to have 3 to 6 months of your expenses saved in order to be financially secure. But the truth is there are a lot of people who aren't even making a fair living wage. And so it's not possible for them to save that. And so for us, building financial confidence not only includes, again, that financial education piece of what you quote unquote should be doing, but it also includes what are those local resources that if you aren't in that position that you can take advantage of to help you if an emergency arises. And so there's this component of not just telling you that you have to have this amount in savings, but also combining that and kind of intersecting it with what's available to you. If you can't pay your bills, what steps should you be taking, and really encouraging them to take the right steps. And so for us, it's about, building that financial confidence for the future, but doing it in a way that people are actually engaged with, that they're actually listening to. So some of the things that we have coming are online programs and courses that are easy to access, along with podcasts. So, we have our traditional way of having resources, which is on our website and through email and social media. But a lot of people are digesting content, audio content too. So I think the way of the future when it comes to personal savings is meeting our savers where they are and making sure that they can access resources in a way that fits with them and in the way that they do life.
You're utilizing all different forms of communication and media because, the truth is so many of us are, I'll put on a podcast at night when I'm doing laundry because it's the way I can sort of catch up on some of the news that's sort of going on, and it's a little bit more easily digestible than to watch the nightly news or things like that. So that's really interesting. I certainly see similar patterns. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. I have to say, I'm really excited about America Saves Week. Can you give us a little bit of maybe instruction on how we can connect our viewers with America Saves and really to sort of help them to take the pledge to become more financially confident?
Of course. So if you are an employer, the best way to participate in America Saves Week is to actually sign up to be a participating organization. So we have every organization's represented from the government, government agencies, the military, to financial institutions and schools and universities. And so truly from the small business owner to the influencer to anyone that owns their own business, if you are interested in sharing content with your community and your audience or your customers, then sign up to be a participating organization, and you'll be given access to the toolkit that we've created that has, oh my gosh, so much information and ready to share content that you can just truly copy and paste and send to your audience. So that's the first way. And if you are a saver yourself, you're a Delaware resident, then the best way to participate is to follow America Saves on social. And then you will be sure and also our email list. So you can take the America Saves pledge, just go to americasaves.org. You'll receive information all week long directly to you from America Saves that kind of helps you walk you through that financial check-in that I talked about earlier throughout the week. So that's the best two ways to do it if you're an employer being a participating organization, or if you're a saver, to take the America Saves pledge. And then you'll have all of the information that you need during the week itself.
Well, that's very, very helpful information. I have to say, Kia McCallister-Young, thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for the monumental work that you all are doing at America Saves. You are being so intentional about supporting folks to become financially confident. And I'm really and truly grateful for the work you do.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that and just grateful for your support and partnership.